Good afternoon. My name is Donna Fiesel, and I'm your host of Donna's Edge Talk Show, where truth matters. You can find us on television, channel 182 on Charter Communications, and Abundant Television, which is found on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. Don't forget the podcast, thenewscasters.com. You can find us on radio also, icradio.media. You can also download the app, which also applies to Apple and to your Android phones. Okay, so today we are, oh, and by the way, the email address is donna@donnasedge.com, donna@donnasedge.com. Everybody knows I like to hunt. I love to fish. And I love anything to do with outside. I love gardening, I like all this kind of stuff. Well, I'm not the only one. A lot of you guys are sending all kinds of ideas, and you're also asking me to have more shows about those things as well. So that's what we're going to do. And so I definitely appreciate you watching us and sending emails with requests, things you would like for me to talk about. And now this actually came from a lady. Her name is Alice. And Alice said, my husband fishes and he also hunts, but he never takes me with him. So she's going to meet with a team of her girlfriends. They're going to get together and they're going to have their own hunting and fishing club. I think that's pretty awesome. And then you can go into competition with those guys as well. And you know what? That's going to be a whole lot of fun. You can whoop them. But anyway, these are tips that apply for if you're a beginner or if you're seasoned. Okay, so this is going to show you how to do it. Now, I found this, it's one of my go-to sites for any kind of hunting and fishing news, and it's outdoorlife.com. outdoorlife.com. And there are a few in here that I didn't know about, so I'm really anxious to go ahead and get started talking with you about it. Number one, go extra slow. Okay, don't do like I do sometimes and go running out there. I'm ready to take on the world and get it happening. No, you got to take it slow. So when still hunting, most of us don't move slowly enough or stay put long enough. So try using your watch as your guide. Good idea. So decide on a period of time when to stand still, such as 5 minutes. And I know some of us 5 minutes seems like an eternity, but we need to do that. In this way, we'll be forced to remain quiet and silent for a minimum amount of time, longer if necessary. Like Phil can stay quiet forever and still in the same spot, and he can stay focused. I can't. That's why he doesn't like taking me on hunting trips. Barely likes to take me on fishing trips. But anyway, we've got to learn how to do that. That's extremely important. Number two, stop at the noise. Okay, so here's a saying the author says I came up with to remind me of an animal's terrific senses. The sound of a snapped twig is quickly forgotten by the hunter, but long remembered by the quarry. So, if you make an occasionally loud noise, and it's unoccasional, stop and stand there as long as you can, just if you suspect animals are close by. A deer might stand a long time and stare in your direction. Remember, they got more patience than we do. If it doesn't see or smell you, it might go back to feeding or whatever else it was doing before it was disturbed. Let me give you an idea about the senses of an animal. Much better, more keen than ours are. So when Buddy was a puppy, this is what he would do. So Phil worked later hours than I did. He was still working with Lowe's at that time. And Buddy, and Phil didn't have a loud sounding car either. So Buddy, he would know about what time it was for Phil to come home, and he'd go stand out at the front door, and he would stand there and just listened. And he would listen for the sound of Phil's car. So any other car going by, he didn't pay it any attention. He could hear Phil's car from a few feet before we could even see the car coming in. He would start standing direct and start barking for Phil to come home. That's how animals are. They're much more in tune with nature than we think they are. So I learned that from Buddy. But anyway, stand still if you make a noise and be really careful. Okay, number three, quick stepping for deer. Okay, listen to this one. A deer is easily alerted to humans as we walk through noisy leaves. This might sound like a dumb idea, but try taking quick steps in a short sprint for 10 to 20 yards or so. Stop and then do it again. So keep your footfalls as light as possible. You'll be surprised at how much more you sound like a squirrel scrambling through the leaves, and that won't affect them. They don't worry about being, a hunter preying on them. Number 4, design a better drive. Now, when putting a drive together, we tend to take stranders in front of and alongside of the areas being driven. Even if you have enough people in your party, position a stander in the rear where the drive originated. Deers will often wait for hunters to pass and then sneak back and run off in the opposite direction. Number 5, drive solo. So try a one-man drive if you're hunting alone. So purposely walk in an area with the wind at your back. The idea is to stir deer up and get them moving. Once you've passed through, make a circle and then do it again. You might see confused deer creeping about unsure of your location. If this doesn't work, take a position on the flank of the area you've walked through and wait an hour or two. You might even see a deer kind of sneaking back in, believing the danger has already passed. Now, this works in dense thickets that deer use for security cover. Now, this is something else you want to keep in mind. I'm telling you what, the deer will know your land more than you do. They do, because that's what they do. They rely on sound and smell, like the smell of something. And by the way, ladies, if you're going to go hunting, don't wear perfume. Be you. Don't smell like you just hit a perfume counter. So it's really important, okay? Okay, number 6, pick your landmarks. Now, when you plan to stalk an animal by making a big circle and coming up behind it, it's easy to become confused as you change your location. So pick a distinctive object on the skyline that you can recognize from the back, such as a large tree, maybe a fence line, or a rock. That'll help guide you to the correct spot. And it's also good just in case you get lost, okay? You're going into a new area. And landscaping can change. I mean, think about this. We have thunderstorms, tornadoes, and what have you. So there may be an area where a tree was never at, but the tree fell down. And so it's out on the ground. Nobody's picked it up. Nobody's used it for cutting wood or anything like that. And it's just there. Maybe you haven't been out there in 2 years. You get back out, it's going to change a little bit. It just will. Okay, number 8. Follow with care. Now, if you're tracking an animal, remember that this animal will be alert to its back trail. So a really fresh track requires you to practically sit still rather than merely follow. So, especially if the animal isn't lined out, but it's taking bites of browse as it goes. Number 9, you want clear shooting lines. Okay, so when you first get into your tree stand, practice taking up shooting positions for all the directions from which an animal might appear. Okay, it's not going to be like in the movies. I mean, it's going to be totally different. You're going to think, well, it's going to go from there. I know what it's going to do. No, you don't know what it's going to do. You're going to have to sit and you're going to have to let the animal do the work. After doing that, try to remove branches in the line of fire if you can reach them, okay, and take up the position that requires the least amount of movement for you to turn in any directions. Be sure your safety strap is secure and it allows free movement. I like to carry my cutting pliers with me everywhere I go, and because I never know when I'm passing by a friend's house and I said they've got a beautiful bush and I'd like to have I want to go ahead and root it or something. Always ask, don't just go do it. Always ask. But I like to carry those with me. Same applies when you're out there in the woods, and try not to make as much noise as possible. Like a branch is in the way, it's right in the way of your gun line. Go ahead and cut that branch, but be as quiet as you possibly can. That as a matter of fact, it's great just to use your other hand and just gently lay it down by you, okay? Because again, I'm telling you, it doesn't sound like a lot of sound to you, but it is to the animals out there. Okay, now sweep away blind clutter. Now, if you're sitting in a ground blind or standing next to a tree, sweep away leaves gently and brush them with your foot so your area is in a clean of forest debris. This will eliminate unnecessary noise if you must take a move when an animal approaches. Especially if you're like me, I can trip on a dime out in the field. I can do that. So that's another reason, just in case you trip and you fall down, you don't make a loud noise. And whatever you do, don't yell. Just keep it to yourself. Okay, number 11, glass and reglass. Now, when glassing with a binocular early in the morning, move to your vantage point in the dark. Glass likely sparks, but don't just let it be a single look, okay? So from time to time, refocus your attention or places you've already checked out. Now, the changing light might reveal animals you hadn't seen before or animals that have moved out of deep brush or timber. Okay, now we got time. So let's start talking about timber tracking before we go into a commercial break. So let's talk about this one. How to follow a blood trail. Now move quietly as you track. Be alert for the quarry, which might be bedded just ahead. If other hunters are with you, communicate with hand signals. You want to get those things done in the car when you're having a good time and all this kind of stuff, and you're going down the road. The ladies, the ones who wanted to see me to have this show today, make sure you do your hand signals, okay? That is extremely important. So get it going, okay? So like this would be a go ahead. Or, you know, you might want to do something like this, like right around the corner to the left, right around the corner to the right. You might want to do something like that. So, but anyway, get it together, okay? All right, now, mark every spot of blood with a piece of toilet tissue, because it's biodegradable. It's not going to hurt the land, you know, for the tree huggers. Or flagging, which could be removed later, okay? Because we don't want to dirty up our land. Okay, number 13. Don't give up. Now, many times, a good blood trail that you followed a long way will peter out to be nothing. It's not a good sign because the animal is still going strong, but it doesn't mean it isn't fatally wounded. So don't give up. Start looking for tiny spots of blood. Get on your hands and knees if necessary, just to help keep you on the spoor. All right, now, call the spot. This is number 14. If you're hunting in a brushy area, and you drop an animal at a distance, make a mental note of where it stood at the shot, especially if you must take your eyes off it to get there. So it's vitally important to find the precise area so you can pick up the blood trail. Okay, we're going to do one more, then we'll cut into a break. Number 15, beware of the instant drop. Now, why does that? Okay, so an animal that drops at the shot is more likely to run off than one that doesn't go down, but runs some distance and then falls. So the animal that falls immediately might do so just from shock, then recover and then run off. Now, when an animal drops instantly, stay put and be prepared for a quick follow-up shot. Let's go into a break. We'll be right back in just a few minutes, I promise.
Twin City Used Car Sales has been serving drivers in the Northeast Alabama area for years with a quality selection of late model used cars, SUVs, and pickup trucks. On top of our extensive selection and competitive prices, we offer professional auto financing services for used car buyers of all credit levels. Whether you've just begun your search or you're ready to secure your next vehicle, at Twin City Used Car Sales, you will drive away with the vehicle of your dreams. The sales and finance staff at Twin City Used Car Sales looks forward to serving you, and you can apply for financing online before your visit to our used dealership in Gadsden, Alabama. Check us out on the web at twincityusedcars.com or go by our location at 901 First Avenue, Gadsden, Alabama. We sincerely look forward to serving you. The Hatter Cafe and Country Inn is nestled in the northeast corner of Alabama the Beautiful in the delightful town of Mentone. We're located on top of scenic Lookout Mountain near Little River and DeSoto State Park and located only 5 minutes from shopping and restaurants. There is also a nearby community walking path and golf course. We welcome everyone through the doors, and we are committed to outstanding service for all guests. At the Hatter Cafe and Country Inn, we invite people from all walks of life to come and get away from it all, enjoy the open spaces, treetop views, fresh, clean air, and experience Southern hospitality at its finest. We look forward to hosting you. To reserve a special event, or if you would love a special getaway at the Country Inn, you can call us at 256-634-2018.
Are you ready?
We all wonder what tomorrow will bring, but the future lays itself at the feet of the prepared and surrenders to the will of the persistent. It's not easy, but today shapes you so you can shape tomorrow. With Northeast Alabama Community College, when the future asks if you're ready, you can answer.
Yes.
Begin your future at Northeast Alabama Community College.
The only place I buy my beef is Lone Tree Ranch in Collinsville, Alabama. Their cattle is born and raised on their ranch, grass and grain fed, and you can feel confident when you serve your family and friends because their beef is all natural and no antibiotics or hormones are added. You can buy whole beef or perhaps go in with family or friends and buy half. Their customer service is number one as they take care of the delivery to their local processor and can deliver to your home for a small added fee. They also offer herd replacement heifers. I always call Lone Tree Ranch in Collinsville, Alabama for my beef specialty recipes and cookouts, and you can too. Food shortages are increasing, so buy local by calling 256-523-6462. That's 256-523-6462. At Lamone's Mexican Restaurant, located in Henniger, Alabama, and voted Best Mexican Restaurant of DeKalb County, Alabama 2020, we're here to serve you with authentic Mexican cuisine. Order easily online by going to lamonsmex.com or call 256-657-3999 to place your order. We're open Sunday through Thursday 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. and Friday and Saturday 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. Whether you're celebrating a cozy date night for two or a celebration for a crowd, at Lamone's you'll love our atmosphere and friendly servers. Thank you for dining with Lamone's Mexican Restaurant.
My Towels solved a problem that we've all had with towels. You go into the stores and they feel lotiony and soft, but then you get them home and they wind dry you. That's why I made My Towels. They actually work, they're soft, and they absorb. And now I'm excited to announce 2 brand new lines of My Towels. What makes them the best towels ever is they're now made with 100% long staple Shapir cotton. This is a combed ring spun cotton that makes My Towels even softer and more absorbent than ever. And now you get a 6-piece set for an amazing introductory sale price as low as $29.98. So go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to get My Towels for only $29.98. Or you can get my designer premium line for just $20 more. Either way, you save 50% now on all My Towels. They actually work. What a concept. This offer won't last long, so please order now.
We are back from the break. My name is Donna, and I am your host of Donna's Edge Talk Show, where truth matters. Thank you so much for watching every day, Monday through Friday, from 1 to 3 p.m. And thank you also for sending your friends. Also, thank you for sharing this on all the social media sites. And also, thank you for your email. You can send an email to donna@donnasedge.com. Now, there's some other ladies out there who like to hunt and fish. I'm glad to see you're out there. So if you have any suggestions for shows, which is what this show is, a suggestion, you can send that email to me and I'll do some research and we'll get some answers out there for you. So anything you want me to talk about. Okay. All right. Now let's talk about this one. Number 16, No Eye Pokes television hunting show hosts like to walk up to a fallen animal and prod it with a firearm muzzle to make sure it's dead. That's dumb. The last thing you want is for an animal to leap up when you're close so you can't take action. Instead, toss a stone or a branch at it and look for a reaction. Now, if an animal's eyes are closed, it's probably still alive. If there is any sign of any true sign of life, shoot it in the throat under the chin to administer a human coup de grace. That way you won't waste meat. Okay, now look up for the blood. This is number 17. When tracking a wounded animal, don't stay focused only on the ground. So look for blood higher up in the sides of the trees or on the grass heads maybe, even on stems of brush. Sometimes we're so intent of looking for traces on the forest floor that we completely miss clues off the ground. Now let's talk about the competition. Is there competition? I'm doing this because I'm tired of competition. Now let's talk about this is important, okay? So number 18, getting in first. Many roads are blocked these days to restrict vehicle access, allowing only foot or horse traffic. Now hunters commonly park in gates early in the morning and hike up roads. Beat everybody else by parking there at midnight. Carry a light sleeping bag and walk to the end of the road where you're apt to find a logged area. This is extremely important. Since these spots are virtual smorgasbords for wildlife, position yourself at the back of the area in an elevated spot away from the road, using your flashlight sparingly. Now, once settled, take a nap and wait for other hunters to push deer to you as shooting hours approach, or look for unpressured deer feeding naturally. All right, here's the next one. Number 19, big game honey holes. Listen to this one. So if you're in a big country and want to focus on the place where the odds are best for finding game, look no further than a deep, heavily timbered canyon with no roads or major trails to the bottom. Most hunters don't descend into nasty spots because they don't know they'll have to climb back out. The idea of hauling a deer or elk out of the bottom is a double nightmare that makes them even more prone to avoid these potentially game-rich spots. And think about this. Now, you need to think about dead weight and then live weight. And this is on anything. It's on people. When people, want to show out, they want to go to, I want to protest and all this kind of stuff, and they throw themselves on the ground, and the cops have to drag them off, and they just lay there lifeless. That's called dead weight. Okay, so think about this now. If you're gonna haul something like a deer, they're gonna feel like they weigh a lot more when they're dead weight, rather than of course they're going to be a lot easier to carry because they're not going to be kicking at you. But what I mean is the weight is going to be harder now for you to drag and put up on your truck if it's dead weight. Okay, so let's talk about this. Let's see, number 20, drive double dipping. Okay, so if you know of a drive being put out by another party of hunters, try taking a stand well away from the group in a heavy cover where spooked deer might run. This is really acceptable if you keep a reasonable distance from the party and don't interfere with the drive. And also, this is important, number 21, don't follow the leader. You always hear this, follow the leader. Well, this is where you don't. So if you're tracking a deer in snow is key, and you discover that another hunter has come upon the tracks and is in front of you, it's obviously no sense in following. Instead, quickly make a big circle and try to ambush the deer. Chances are the other hunter will only keep pushing it ahead, maybe to you. So ethics require you to do this. It's a considerable distance from where you think the hunter might be. And the author here says, I would suggest at least a half mile or so. This is just being nice, not being greedy. Okay, this is important, staying warm. Okay, so number 22, sleep in comfort. So a cot in an unheated tent or camp will keep you cold all night if you don't have a pad underneath your sleeping bag. Now, if you have no pad, spread out clothing to insulate you from the cold air under the cot. Now, the loft in your bag is compressed with the weight of your body and offers little insulation when in contact with the thin fabric of a cot. Now, number 23, bring your best bag. So be sure to have your best sleeping bag along during a cold winter hunt, even if you're in a tent or a cabin with a wood stove. Now, the fire will go out during the night. Okay, this is nature. It's not where we can flick a switch. And the temperature inside will almost equal the temperature outside. So a lightweight summer bag is just for that, summer. Number 24, cold weather horsemanship. Now, riding a horse in cold weather will chill you rapidly if you end up sitting up for long periods of time. So warm up by walking the horse downhill. Not only will this get your blood flowing, but it's also good horsemanship to keep the animal and give them a break. Okay, those beautiful horses. Okay, upland game, waterfowl. I think we have time for a few of these. Number 25, don't spook the ringnecks. Don't spook them. Okay, so wild pheasants spook easily at the sound of vehicles, dogs, and voices. Most birds will start running or flying at the first sign of a human. Now, park as far as possible from where you plan to hunt and approach the area quietly. Number 26, don't sweat it. Perspiration will be your greatest enemy on a cold day. So take every precaution to keep dry, even if it means stripping off layers of clothes as you walk in frigid temperatures to avoid sweating. Now, if you sit for any length of time, work up a sweat beforehand, we'll guarantee that you'll get chilled and you don't want to catch cold. Okay, number 27, glassing for ducks. Now, when you are jump shooting ducks along streams or potholes, use good binocular to scan the area for distant ducks. Make your observation looking through brush. Now, if possible, ducks have keen eyesight and they'll fly off when they spot you. Okay. Number 28, taking down grouse. Ruffed grouse, or gruff grouse, are masters at flying through thickets. So many hunters pass up shots where the birds aren't in clear, so that's a mistake. Never pass up a shot if you can see the blur as it erupts through brush. Also, be sure you know exactly where the other members of your hunting party are. If you continually pass up birds, you might never get a shot. Make sure your buddies are not there in that, okay? Okay, small game care, and then we'll have to go ahead and call it a day. All right, number 29, bring some shears. So carry game shears to cut off wings and legs of birds in the field. Be sure to leave evidence of sex or species of the bird if required by law. Okay, dress the birds when you take a break and wrap them in cheesecloth to keep them clean, allowing air to circulate and cool the meat. Never put a warm bird in a plastic bag. Never, 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 never. Okay, number 30, skin them ASAP. Okay, so skin rabbits and squirrels as soon as possible. The skin peels off easily, first of all, because it's warm. Okay, some small game animals harbor fleas, which can carry diseases. So if you rid the skin quickly, the fleas won't have time to migrate off the carcass and onto you. Now, don't breast out turkey. Okay, turkey hunters often breast their birds, taking the breast meat and discarding the legs, the wings, and the thighs. This is a mistake. The latter three parts make wonderful stew and soup, first of all. Simply cook them in a crock pot until the meat falls off the bones. Put the boned, diced meat in a pot with soup or stew ingredients. You'll never throw away a wild turkey leg again. And if you have an Instapot, right on time. Okay, number 32, moving in for the kill. It's a quite a day when you're trying to approach ducks by crawling through thick reeds. Now, the noise you make will invariably spook the birds, of course, before you're even in range. Now, if cows are around, try this. Say moo loudly as you speak. Being a calf-like as much as possible. And don't laugh. And I know the guys are all going to laugh at you and all that kind of stuff. Hey, it's going to be for their benefit too. Let them laugh. Don't laugh, though. It works like a charm, and ducks will tolerate cows, but they're not going to tolerate you or me. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Donna, and I am your host of Donna's Edge Talk Show. Thank you for watching every day, Monday through Friday from 1 to 3 p.m. Central, as we get to ride on with each other. By the way, send any emails to Donna@donnasedge.com. That's Donna@donnasedge.com. If you have any ideas for shows, or if you just want to say hello, or you'd like to win one of our many, many, many prizes that we give away every single Friday. Again, thank you so much for watching. Take care. See you next time.